It's very important to always hold your participant's hand on the pool deck at all times. We understand that some participants really enjoy going to the pool or the water, and they may see the water slides or some toys or just the pool itself, and they may run towards that. Um, and either or adversely, we may witness a participant who may really not want to be in the water, and they may try to leave the pool deck or run towards someone or something. In either case, it is super important to always hold your participant's hand while walking on the pool deck. Another thing to keep in mind is how the pool temperature may affect your participant today. As you may know, majority of our participants have some form of special needs, whether it's autism or a sensory processing disorder or related disabilities. The pool temperature can affect their behavior. All right. We understand that when the pool water feels colder than usual, a participant may freeze in place and not want to move. So they may be a great swimmer, but it may appear to you at that moment as if they don't want to swim or don't how to swim because of the pool water being a certain temperature, in this case, cold. So do not limit or assume that a participant is not able to swim or do certain skills if you're noticing that the participant are showing or exhibiting some signs of being cold, as in freezing it, standing in place, not submerging their body, not wanting to get splashed on, or even submerging their head underneath the water. These are certain characteristics that exhibit that the water may be too cold for them. One thing to also keep in mind is the water tolerance for our participants. Some of our participants, they may really enjoy being in the water. However, because of a special need or a specific aversion, sensory wise, they may not enjoy having water splashed on their face. When they put their head back, they may not like water being on their ears, touching the water, or they may not even want to have water over their head, therefore unable to submerge their head easily. Again, this could be potentially a sensory reason, and we do not want to force our participants to simply get over it, so to speak. This is one of the acclimation skills we are targeting, and we want to make sure that our participants feel comfortable while embracing the water acclimation experience. And we are not, these are two skills that we're going to try to pinpoint and target, are the drowning prevention skills and swimming strokes, and also feeling comfortable with the water tolerance level for the participants. Last but not least, I want you to also pay attention to the open mouths while in the pool. Some of our participants, again, may be experiencing a sensory input um, behavior where they may be used to drinking the pool water or licking the pool water. Because this becomes a natural reflex whenever water touches their lips, their natural reflex is to swallow it. This is something that some of our participants may be doing unknowingly. When I thought there could be a participant that could be submerging their head underwater. They could be submerging their head underwater, and when they lift their head up above the water, they may be swallowing some of the water that's on their face. So uh, some of the sides, the characteristics we want you to be make a note of is watch their throat. See if they're closing their mouth and swallowing, if you hear any gestation sounds when they're swallowing. Because if this is the indication, if a participant swallows too much pool water, they may feel sick, nauseous, and throw up. So these are things we want you to keep in mind of. If there's a participant that is always having their mouth open during the pool session and you feel like they're drinking a lot of water, then this is a behavior that we should target on first before moving forward with any of the subsequent skills. Again, you should speak to us, me, some of the staff of your observation before we move forward with any of the other more intrusive skills. We have here some examples of how to give instructions. I'm not going to go through all of these for the sake of time, but I do want you to read through them. All right. But as a rule of thumb, when given instructions, it is important to be clear, concise, and use visual language. When you it's very easy to over command, over instruct our participants by repeating ourselves over and over, um, giving an instruction with too many words, by making no eye contact, or being a little ambiguous with our instructions, such as saying, give me more, or let's go. Some of those examples may be not as efficient with some of our lower um, functioning participants because they would require something that's a little bit more concrete and visual. In that case, it's easy. You may experience higher level successes when you use concrete visual instructions such as walk with me, time for kicks, would you like a break? Yes or no questions are very helpful. Present some choices for them to let you know what they want to do. When before you give an instruction and there's something that you want them to accomplish or do, call their name, make sure they're looking at you, and count to three to prompt them. All right. For this slide, we're going to discuss open hand policy. And I want you to watch this video on how I hold Jordan's hand using open hand policy. And I'm going to show you real quick how you can practice that from where you're sitting and watching this video. Hold both of your hands like this. Make sure your fingers are closed like a mitten. And have your dominant hand reach over and grab your other hand, like placing your fingers over the wrist like this and having your thumb in the palm. This is the open hand policy. It doesn't have to be like this exactly, but it could be held like this. You could grab the side of the arm this way. The idea is to not squeeze or clench the skin like that. The reason why is because, when you use your fingers, you may break their skin, leave a red mark, but when you use your open hand to grasp their hands, then you have less likely chances of leaving a mark. Please feel free to read this paragraph and let's watch the video.
We're gonna use,
You won't be able to
I'm just
hear
gonna
what's
use
being
like
said probably. I know it's very low,
this.
but I just want you to focus on
Click
the
same, like
movements.
that, perfect. So you're gonna hold your hand out. I'm gonna put my thumb,
That's
so
my
you can
hand
thumb like this. Let's walk a little closer.
over Jordan's hand.
So, okay, relax your hand, like that. Perfect. And then you're gonna relax your arm. Let's take a step back, just like that. Okay, relax. So you're gonna close your hand a little bit. And we're just gonna walk like this.
How it looks like walking side by
My
side
wrist
with
is.
open hand.
There you go, just like that. Okay, let go. Relax your hand. Let's walk.
All right, so we're going to continue talking about prompting and on this slide. So I'm going to play both of these videos and I'm going to give some commentary as the video is playing on explaining on what is happening and what level of prompting is occurring at the moment. Remember that the goal for prompting is to help facilitate independence within our participant. We would like for our participant to accomplish the given instruction independently. So we do prompting to help facilitate that independence until they are able to do it on their own. Okay, let's start watching the
I'm gonna
first video.
demonstrate a verbal
You won't be
prompt
able to listen to everything on the video. I know that it's very
to
low, but I'm going to
a
be
gestural
providing some
prompt
commentary along the way to
and a
hopefully
visual
explain
prompt.
what's happening.
Okay, here we go. So don't do anything. Jordan, pick up
So I'm giving Jordan a
mark.
verbal
So
and
Jordan
gestural
is
prompt.
not
I'm
picking up. I
asking him
told him
to
something
pick up
verbally, still
the
hasn't done it.
weight.
So now
As
I'm
you
going to
can
point at
see,
him.
The
or
weight, he is
pick
not
up.
picking up the weight. So imagine that you're asking a
Still nothing.
participant to do
This is called
something
a gestural
in the
prompt.
pool
It helps
and they're
indicate
not doing it.
exactly where or what you want the participant to work on or manipulate. But now I'm going to indicate
That's the
exactly
context.
where or what you want the participant to work on or manipulate. But now I'm going to try a physical prompt. You use physical prompts to ensure success
So the
100% of
question
the time.
is, what do you do now after you have
So I
told the
put my hand
participant
behind
to
his
do
back,
something and
so
they're
I have
not doing it?
control in case
Uh,
Jordan decides
so
to
you
get up,
increase the level of
stand,
prompting down
move to a
the
direction. I have
prompting
control
hierarchy. As
over
you
those
can see, I
situations
am
at all
placing my
times.
hand
I'm
behind
gonna pick up
Jordan.
his hand
This
that I
is
want to
a
use, and I'll
partial
say
physical
verbally,
prompt. I am
say, Jordan,
physically
pick up.
going to help
I
him
help by having
pick
my
up the
hand
weight.
over his hand. Let's show the video.
So I am
My hand is over
telling
his hand.
Jordan
So
to
this
pick up the
way, he
weight
pays
as I'm
attention to where
providing a
and what
physical
compared to the
prompt.
participant to work on gestural prompt. But now I'm gonna try a physical prompt.
As you can tell,
Use
I am
physical
not
prompts
picking up the
to
weight
ensure
for him. I am
success
doing it
100% of the
with
time.
him.
Jordan, okay? Pick up. So I'll put my hand behind his back. No, so I have control. Jordan, in case Jordan decides up, I told him something verbally. Stand, move to a direction. So
I
now
have
I have
told him to
control
pick it up.
over the
I am
situation
picking
at
it
all
up
times.
with
I'm
him
gonna lift
as
up
a
his hand
physical
that I want him to
prompt.
use, and
And
I'll
this is a
say
great
this is
way
called
to
a
ensure
gestural
that your
prompt.
participant
It
is
helps
able to
indicate exactly
accomplish
where
the
and what you want
skill or
the
task.
participant.
For visual schedules and timers, we're going to go through this briefly. A visual schedule is something that would be definitely an effective tool while using with participants with autism and related disabilities. The only the view I want you to view visuals as in a way as a prompt, as a visual prompt in communicating the instruction. Some of our participants respond better when you don't just say a verbal instruction, but when you use a visual prompt with your verbal instruction. All right. For example, I'm going to play this short clip here. If I ask a participant to let's sit on edge, that's the verbal instruction, while pointing to a visual prompt, this will help ensure that the participant understands and completes that instruction. Okay, another way that we can use timers, we're not going to go so much into depth of how to use timers in the pool, but one strategy that I definitely implement and encourage you to implement is to count how many repetitions you want your participant to do a specific task. For example, if you want your participant to float on their back, like we see right here, number 7, then give them the prompt of counting to 10 seconds. So I will say, for example, Danny, float on back, provide the physical prompt. I gave the verbal instruction, I'm providing the physical prompt, and I'll count. Float on back, 10 seconds. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 10. Or sometimes the kids prefer it if I do it backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you use these counting prompts, physical prompts, and also letting the participants know before you actually do the actual task, what is expected, you have a higher chance, you will increase the chances of success. All right, so now we're going to discuss our PREMAC principle. It's also known as the principle of reinforcement and first and then. You're going to hear me say this a lot during our Swim Buddies time together. I'm going to play this short clip and I'm going to provide some commentary along the way. So this is Grandma. So she wants to build motivation with her grandson. All right. So she tells her grandson first he will need to clean the room, then he could play with the skateboard. So now there is increased motivation for him to clean his room. That is the desired instruction to clean his room. And she's using the motivation of using the skateboard uh, to clean the room. And after he finishes cleaning the room, he is able to have the skateboard. So this is a Premack principle. It's really a simple way to reward people to get to build motivation while working with our participants. If you notice that your participant may be seeking to want a break, or they want to go see their mom, or they just want to play with their toys, or just want to have their free time, you can motivate them by saying, first, let's do 10 kicks, then break. Or for those who are more independently functioning, you could say, first, let's get through the pool lesson, which is more general, and then you can go home or go use your iPad or eat snacks afterwards. That's the motivation. So again, saying something along the lines, first, let's do 10 kicks and then break. These are a little bit shorter durations. You may use these for our younger participants or those who have a shorter threshold of waiting. But those who are able to wait a little longer, you could probably use more of a general concepts such as, first, let's get through the pool time and then you can go. We like to use, when working with our kids in the pool deck, on the pool deck and in the water, is called body blocking, right? Where you use your body to block your participant to help navigate and control where they can go. All right. We do not like to pull on participants' arms. We don't like to run towards them if they run past you. But these are preventative measures you can implement to make sure that they stay within the designated area and not elope or run away. Examples of
I
that.
did a handstand on
Your comments
channel.
on.
Okay, so put your hand
No,
on
I'm
the
almost
shoulder.
done, baby.
So what I'm doing is I'm gonna use my thumb, open hand policy, right here. Let's turn around.
So
Another
another
just like
thing that's
that.
very important to
Once
really
you
to
redirect
recognize,
it,
if a
so
participant
like
ever
this,
lays a hand on
this
you,
right hand on my shoulder. So what I'm doing
you
is I'm
can
gonna use my
help
thumb,
maneuver
open hand
it out
policy,
of the way
right hand,
safely
both hands, turn around,
for
so
both
you can't
for both
just
you
like that.
and the participant.
Once you
While
redirect,
you're standing to the
other hand,
side
so what's
corner
important
of the
is
participant,
if I'm in the
in that
back
position here,
and I'm the safest,
you are
because
able
I'm
to
trying to
block
help.
any
Now,
aggressive
what I have,
physical
try to
movement towards you, whether he's
both
trying to
hands.
slap,
Arms down.
pinch, or
So now try to
scratch
turn
you.
around, please, sir. Lift up your hands again. You see?
I have
I
one
got
arm
control.
behind him
If
so
I'm
he
in
doesn't
the
run
middle, so
away.
if I'm in your back,
And with my
try
left
to,
hand,
try to touch
I'm
my
able to
now
block
watch this. I
any
got my
movement
back
towards
turned.
my face
Let's
or
try it
body.
again. There
And
you
he's
go.
also not
Now
able
don't
to
face the
bite or
camera. I'll
headbutt
target
me.
because if I'm gonna do that, you know what you
So
do?
this preventative measure
Yeah,
is a way to keep
open.
safe
Target to the
for you and the participant until
targeting you
help
like I'm
gets
training you,
closer
bro.
to or arrives. Notice that if a participant ever gets aggressive, I do not leave them alone or take a step back. Why? Because I will leave, if I took a step back, the participant is at risk of eloping, running away, going in the deep side of the pool and possibly harming themselves, or picking something up and throwing it at me. So the closer proximity I am to my participant, the more control I have. Let's watch the second video.
All right. So we're gonna practice redirect. If they try to come at me,
I'm just showing how some of the preventative techniques I'm using.
both hands. Good. And try to redirect.
Notice how I'm having my open hand policy
So what's
during the whole
important
time.
is if I'm in the back,
And once I'm behind him, I have maximum
try to
control.
headbutt me. There. You not gonna headbutt me? Try to hit me with your arm.
He's not able to hit me. He's not able to headbutt me. I can control using my forearms, my wrist, and moving
I
his
got
shoulders
control.
around.
If I'm in your back, I got complete control. Now what happens if I got my back turned? Now try to hit me.
We do not ever want to turn our backs towards a
Target, because
participant
if I'm not facing
in those
you,
situations because
then I'm
God forbid he may hurt you or someone else or themselves.
I'm talking to you like I'm training you, bro.
All right, so now we're going to discuss praise and reward. This is something that after the instruction is completed, the participant has done a great job, they're having a great session, and you want to give them a praise and reward. We briefly discussed that. We saw a little bit of it in the YouTube video with the Premack principle when the mom gave the little boy a high five and said, "Good job." This is a form of praise. But I'm going to read some of this, and we're just going to give a few examples to ensure that why do we do it and why it's important, okay? It is important to understand the function behind giving a reward. Okay? Rewards are meant to be given at the end of a desired action to increase likelihood of happening again. So again, you see how one of the main principles that we're trying to use here is motivation. We want to make sure that this behavior that just happened, that we are rewarding and very happy about, happens again. Okay, so just like with prompting, we want to ensure the independence of the participant accomplishing this task. So we also want to ensure that this behavior happens again in the future. Okay, rewards should be given to distinguish a good job done immediately after the task is done. All right, these are some types of effective rewards that we could use during our programming. High fives, verbal praises such as good job, break time. Some of our participants just want to work for a break. Preferred item, preferred activity or item. Maybe there's a game they want to play or just play with a specific toy or item. And or just maybe a completion of the activity. Their break could be simply just being done with everything that's on the list. Let's say, going back to the example I mentioned in the previous slide of the visual schedule, let's say Johnny just wants to be done with everything on their schedule. Maybe the little Johnny is an overachiever and just wants to finish everything as quickly as possible. And as soon as they're finished, it brings a release of dopamine in their brain. They feel relaxed and accomplished, like they've done something amazing, which is great.